Now I'm about to tie a pretty popular fly that no one really knows much about. Stick around. Hello everybody, welcome to Savage Flies. I'm Matt, thanks for stopping by. So this pattern I'm about to tie, the origin is pretty much lost to history, but most people's best guess is it probably came from somewhere over in Western Europe as a stillwater fly. Sometime earlier this century it made it to the States, and it's been a popular all-water fly here. And the fly I'm talking about is called the Zulu. And there are several variants of it out there. I'm going to go by the recipe in Randall Scott Stetzer's book. He uses a peacock herl for the body, but there are other variations out there where you just use a black fur for a dubbed body. And you might also see it tied with a colored hackle wrapped as a collar up front, and in that case it might be called a blue Zulu. And as far as I can tell, really the defining characteristics of what makes the fly the Zulu is the red tag for the tail and then a black palmered hackle down the body. Now this is not a hard pattern to tie, and it's not really elegant at all. In fact, it's kind of a shaggy looking fly. But then again, that's probably why it's a pretty effective fly. And I'm going to keep this as a simple fly and tie it pretty much in its most basic form. But I think you're going to like it. Let's give it a shot. So there it is in the vise. Just a pretty classic old school fly called the Zulu. It's not a very elegant pattern. In fact, it's kind of a mess looking. And I'm tying this on a size 10. It's a 1X long wet fly hook. And I'm going to put down some black in the 70 denier. I'm not going to take it all the way back yet. Just leave it up here to the front. So I'm going to catch in my tail up front and then run this the whole length of the body. So let's go about right there. Okay, now we'll just use this to help build up a little bit of bulk in our underbody here. I'll put one wrap right up under that just to make sure it doesn't roll on me. And next up, I'm going to catch in the wire rib. Now you could take it all the way up front and catch it in up here, but my piece here is only a couple inches, so I don't really have that luxury right now. Or I might risk running out of wire. Okay, we got that caught in. I'm going to take my thread back up front and then catch in some peacock herl. 3 strands. 3 strands right here, and I'm going to catch it in from the thick side just because I'm going to use it to help bulk up this underbody, kind of like I did with that red wool yarn. So open wraps, just catch it in coming back. All right, get out of there, herl. And I'm going to leave my thread about midway. So you're going to break these off? Sure. So leaving it midway, it will help keep these herls together if they start spreading out on you when you get halfway up. But just go ahead and wrap your body all the way up to the eye. See what I did there? I went ahead and I want the body a little bit longer, but I don't have a whole lot of this herl to grab, so I went ahead and put a locking wrap on it, and I'm going to try to squeeze out just a couple more wraps right here. And we might be able to do that. Okay. I think so. So we were able to squeeze out a couple extra wraps just by using that locking wrap. Now let's go ahead and break or snip these off. And you know what? I forgot to snip this tail. Just about, I don't know, it's a small tuft, reminiscent of a black-nosed dace right there. But I also need to fluff it out before I wrap this palmered hackle. So taking my Orvis popsicle stick here, and I'm just going to rough this up. This would have been easier to do before I put that body in, but oh well. Sometimes I forget steps, and if it's not too late to go back and take care of them, then by all means do it. Okay, for the palmered hackle, just a black hen. This is a small little, from a hairline cape, I think. Not real high quality, but it's nice enough. So I'm pulling it down. That's about the length I want right there. I'm going to just strip some of the stem, get me a tie-in point, and I'm going to try to catch it in with the concave side toward the hook, and with the feather perpendicular, sort of, so that those wraps will look a little bit better on that first wrap. And that did not work, so I'm going to try that again. Okay, that looks a little better right there. So 3 or 4 locking wraps before we have to snip off this butt right here. Now, what you'll see a lot of people do, they'll put maybe 2 or 3 wraps up front and then open palmered wraps going back. And I think that does look a little bit better, gives it a little bulkier of a head. So we'll do that. Let's go with maybe 2 wraps up front and then open wraps going back, which would probably get only, I would say, 3, maybe 4 wraps here. Okay, so that's 2 up front, and now I'm going to start widening my wraps to where I get maybe 3 or 4 going back. Okay, I think that's going to be the ticket right there. You know what? I might need to go 1 more back, at least halfway around. Okay, so that this first wire wrap will really catch this in. So as soon as you get some tension under that hackle fiber, you can take it out of your pliers and then just zigzag this up through here. Try not to trap too many. You're going to trap some. There's nothing you can do about that. And again, it doesn't really matter. It's not an elegant fly. So 5 or 6 wraps up here to really lock this palmered hackle in. Now catch it off after you get it up front. This was a size brassy. I don't know if I mentioned that, but you could certainly go to a smaller wire if you wanted. And I think that's fine. Put some tension on my thread, spin this off. We're going to have to trim this in just a second, but let's go ahead and do the head while we're up here. Just a few wraps and build the head as big as you want it. It's a wet fly. Doesn't have to be huge, but just enough to get a good wet finish on and a drop of head cement. I think that'll be fine right there. Let's wet finish this, and then we'll go back and take care of that hackle. And by take care of this hackle, I mean snip this off right here, and then check and see if you need to pull any of these out, if you've got any trap that you want to try to brush out. I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time or effort on that part. I just put some head cement on it and put this in my box. So there you go. Pretty simple pattern, kind of cool looking. I think it's going to be pretty effective. So I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.